In trying to define what being educated means, I'm going to bring forth five situations in life that many of us, or most of us, have faced or will face. Again, the objective is to act as an illustration to the concept of the four components of education, namely information, skills, knowledge, and wisdom. By communicating an idea from multiple angles in multiple disciplines, I believe is the best way to cement a certain concept in the psyche. This could happen for the correct concept or even the wrong concept. However, I believe that the model that I have developed is the correct one, and time will prove that I am also correct. So let's start with the first situation. In the first chapter, I talked about whether we prefer to have an educated spouse or an uneducated spouse. Through my biased proof, of course, we concluded that we would rather have an educated husband or wife rather than an uneducated one. In this chapter, I want to extend this situation to when you are supposed to meet your father-in-law for the first time. At that time, he would be checking you out and ask him some questions as well as talking some niceties. Mind you, not to take this thing too seriously, as I'm just using it as a springboard to clarify my concept on the four components of education. I chide the youngsters by asking them, what is the first question that your future father-in-law might ask? The students are pretty much clueless at that time for obvious reasons of lack of experience. However, I tell them that most likely he will ask the future son-in-law how much he has studied or what is his academic qualification. He might ask what is his current occupation, but certainly he will not ask how much money he has got. So the main point is a father would rather give the hand of his daughter to someone who's educated than someone who's not educated. Why so? This time let me try to explain to you in terms of the four components of education. In marriages, there'll be a lot of problems. There'll be a lot of contradicting information that one partner will send the other partner through words and actions and even silence. So if the son-in-law doesn't have the skills to interpret words and even read between the lines as they do in the various comprehensions tests, then there's bound to be conflict in the marriage. Also, it is better to have a son-in-law who has the knowledge of how marriages fail and how to prevent the failure from occurring. He should have the knowledge of properly communicating his feelings and the knowledge about health issues of women. At least he should have the skill and the knowledge to acquire further knowledge when problems occur. Finally, all this knowledge should have made that son-in-law humble enough through the wisdom gained over the years of education on understanding the changing roles of genders and adapting. So, an educated son in law would definitely make a better husband than an uneducated one because of all those added advantage that education would have provided him. So that was the part of relationship. Being educated, the son-in-law should also have higher chances of making a living. It's difficult for an uneducated person to get a higher level white collar job, but if times are bad, an educated person can get a blue collar low level job. In this way, survival is pretty much guaranteed when the son-in-law is educated, because he can have both of the worlds. If he is truly educated with the skills to understand the information of a recession, for example, and the knowledge to ride the waves of the recession, he could even start up his own business and enterprise with the wisdom he gained from many books and learned people. He would have gotten the wisdom that would help him to make his venture a success, and even if it failed, to make it least possible financially ruinous. Also, educated son-in-law makes a better conversationalist. He speaks with more logic and rationality, and maybe that is why people look for educated rather than uneducated son-in-laws. Of course, there is the possibility that education makes a person dumb in conversation because he is specialized in a particular topic. But definitely, whatever words will come out from his mouth will carry some weight. Finally, many of you will counter my argument by saying that not all happy couples are the educated ones, and not all unhappy couples are the uneducated ones. As I will be showing you in the last segment of this chapter, education is not only about physics, chemistry, or math, English, or even economics. It's about communication, positive thinking, decision making, leadership, and so on. So, the wider the education a person has gotten, the more diverse information he can understand, the vaster will be his skill sets, the more expansive will be his knowledge, and the more in depth will be his wisdom. Still, I want to remind you that the objective of this particular section was just to help students get motivated to study. You can use this argument yourself with your students, and if you are a student, think about what I just said. The main objective for students to study is to finally become financially independent. That means that they need a job. Yes, they could start a business, but a business is nothing more than a job with many bosses we call clients. Again, when we look for a job, the employer cites his first qualification as the academic degree he is expecting. The same question as earlier comes up. Why does education matter for a job? Let's start with the most obvious example of a doctor or engineer. Even to get a starting position in those highly technical fields, you need somebody who has been exposed to the information related to those particular professions. In the case of the doctor, the applicant should have been exposed to information like sick people, medicines, hospitals, and so on. In the case of the applicant for the engineering degree, he should have been exposed to calculation of stress on a beam, the effect of poor cement mix on a building, bugs, crashes. The doctor should have the skills of at least putting a syringe to draw blood or to make a diagnosis, to match a medicine with a disease. The wannabe engineer should have the skill to derive the optimal thickness of the material required so that it can bear the desired weight, and to draw the schematics of the circuit that should deliver the desired output. In terms of knowledge, the doctor wannabe should have thorough understanding of the levels of causality that leads to a certain symptom, and the ability to move from symptom to the root cause. The engineer wannabe should have the knowledge of the various factors that affect the safety of his products, and how a chain of events can lead to a catastrophe. In terms of wisdom, the doctor should have been humbled enough to know that he doesn't have the answer to all the problems, even in the narrow field of health, but he should know how to guide the patient, find the necessary help. The engineer wannabe should have the wisdom to know that not all the structures that he wants to make can be done with the available knowledge, and new methods and principles of construction must be derived that he has no clue about at this point. Then he must have the wisdom to bring in people from other fields as well as other experts to solve his engineering problem that would be beyond his pay grade. It is less obvious why we would need somebody to have a master's degree to do certain jobs like sales or data entry or even becoming a manager. But basically, what the employers are looking for is somebody with enough cognitive skills to make sense of any kind of information they might be getting and have the skills to do something about an angry customer or a falling sales target or a faulty operation. At least the candidate should have the knowledge to investigate anything that he is involved in, like what is that particular industry about, what are the different types of products, what are the different features, what are different advantages, disadvantages, what are the various factors that affect the quality, and so on. These types of cognitive activities is only possible if that person went to college or university. The company that the educated person is hired in might be dealing with nails or bricks or mushrooms. But if one has the knowledge of having even studied history, for example, it would not be difficult for that person to understand the particular industry that he is in, be it of nails, bricks, or mushrooms. He would have the skills required to navigate through all the pieces of information that lie around in the office and come up with proper documentation. All this will lead in a state of wisdom whereby the educated person will be able to create new knowledge that was not available earlier on, either for himself or for the company. So, even though they don't mention it as such, these companies are looking for the things that I mentioned when they say that they're looking for somebody who's educated. Now, this is in terms of cognitive skills or mind stuff. But education provides the same for components in the social arena. Somebody who went to school, college, university would have the knowledge that there must be a level of discipline in front of seniors, and you can put an argument if you can defend it, and you should defend it if you are correct. Also, the educated person knows when to recede, and this is what employers look in terms of behavior. We don't want any unruly people, and employers look for people who have the skill to control their anger and to control what comes from their mouth, as well as the skill to be able to speak up in front of a crowd. If the person has got a thorough education in terms of social intelligence, then he would develop the wisdom required to deal with awkward situation, negotiations in tough cases with problematic customers or employees. In this way, the employer has got a very good reason to look for educated staff rather than uneducated ones. Knowing this, you can motivate the students of yours to stay in college or go to university, because in the end most situation would be better off with an educated person. After several years of experience, everybody is tempted to start his business. Some are able to start, but most are not able to do so. Among those who start, few will succeed, and others will fail and go back into the job market. There is this misunderstanding that to start a business, all you need is the ability to take a risk, which is the actual definition of entrepreneurship. But as an investor, I would rather take a risk by investing in an educated person rather than on an uneducated person. Even if you are betting on your own money, education will help you more than not having one. Again, I'm not talking about the formal education only in all these examples. I'm referring to the four components of education. So, if you have the ability to observe the world around you by traveling, talking, and even consuming goods and services, you will find out that there are so many unsolved problems, gaps in the world. Then business requires the skill to at least theoretically think of a solution to those gaps. Then knowledge would kick in with how those possible solution could solve the problem. Knowledge will dictate that you could not be the first one to have thought about it, and there must be somebody else who has done it before. The skills of research would help you on finding out that information about earlier attempts to solve that particular gap. If you have very good skills, you could even document it so that it's thorough. Knowing that your quick opinion might not provide the accurate data, you could use your statistical skills to find patterns and the probability that your business will succeed. Using your mathematical skills, you could calculate when and if you would break even. Now, all this is no good unless you have the wisdom at the end to bypass every existing solution to that same problem and find the perfect insight for your business and how to start it and move forward. In this way, you have understood that even to start a business, education plays a major role. Bill Gates did all the things that I just mentioned earlier on. When he started Microsoft, he had the information that computers had the hardware, but they lacked the proper software. Then he honed his skills of programming since an early age. He got the knowledge about how the different players at that time were involved in the development of computers. He also got the legal knowledge on how a business might work for him. He looked for more information, and finally his wisdom came up with concept of an operating system that he could sell to IBM. Then he took action. It's tempting to say the rest is history, but it was a series of information observed, skills developed, knowledge expanded, and acts of wisdom that led to his status that we are now so familiar with. I know I'm making it sound so simple, but I want you to know that education isn't that hard, and if can be boiled down to those four components. In this way, you will be able to be educated yourself. I have used the example of sickness many times earlier on. So I will make this subsection quite short just to illustrate the four components at work. Whatever sickness you fall in, you don't want to be just acting based on the information that you got because it might not be the correct one. You must have the skills to actually measure your body temperature, blood pressure. These are the basic ones. Then you must have the knowledge that there are many things like composition of your blood, the content in your urine and feces that needs to be measured in order to find out the root cause of your symptoms. A doctor would have much more knowledge than you, and that's why you consult a specialist. So that is also knowledge. That your own knowledge is limited, then your skill to go to the doctor and listen to his recommendation is very important. That said, every patient knows that in the end, the doctor provides you the knowledge, but you have to use your wisdom to decide whether to implement the prescription of the doctor word by word, or make some fine tune that will require you to have knowledge of other fields from other sources. We have all done the above process when we are sick. At least if you are more educated, you have been more thorough on that. The least educated ones, when they are sick, just deny the information and don't do anything on it. They reject the skills, the knowledge, and the wisdom, and they just let themselves become sicker, and eventually many die, while others heal naturally but over a long time. Again, it is based on knowledge that nature heals. However, it is very limited. The final situation I want to talk about is when we deal with money. People have a love and hate relationship with it. Some say it's the most important thing, and some say money is evil. And that is because they are not educated about money. They have information of what money can buy, or the danger of money leading to addictions, indulgence, and so on. But they lack the knowledge of how to actually make money work for them and not the other way around. There are so many good books on this gap of knowledge. So I'll not talk much about this topic, and I will let you to explore the knowledge of money further. Finally, money requires lots of wisdom. You must know at one point you should not think about money, and at what point you should actually start thinking and working hard to make money. You should have your boundaries on what you'll allow yourself to do for money and what you'll not allow yourself to do for money. Then you should know when you should stop focusing in money, because yes, there is such a point when money will be enough and more of it will cause damage in your life. The real wisdom is not that there's never going to be enough money. In fact, the truth is that once the point of enough money is reached, one should stop, otherwise there will be a disaster in various forms, be it in health, legality, or morality, or socially. So I will end this section here on a brief exposition of the use of the four components of education in various five life situations.